Eagles. Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Football Friday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports, our first official Football Friday of the year. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Friday morning, brother, as we recap day 1 and 2 of training camp, but the first week, kind of, for lack of a better word, is behind us now, and we roll along. How you doing this morning, J-Mac?
Doing well. A little bit of a breather. Thanks. Always this time of year, I tend to forget what day it is, so I have to be reminded. That's a good thing.
Well, Football Friday today, John, they are not off today. There's a walkthrough today, so I'll get your take on what exactly that means. So walkthrough today, and then the Eagles are back out in the practice field tomorrow. Johnny Mac will be back down there again. Sunday is a player's day off, no schedule of media availability. And then next week, just to give everybody a preview of next week, they are practicing Monday, Tuesday, walkthrough Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. So you know what that means for Birds 365. 4 of 5 shows next week will be an evening show, with Wednesday being the only regular 8 to 10 a.m. slot. So they got a busy schedule coming up, Johnny Mac, which means you're going to be a busy man down at the NovaCare complex.
Yeah, and they're still, that's one of those things where I think this is where the Eagles do most of their work, to be honest, closed walkthrough today. So they're working. It's just not open in front of the media.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what exactly does that mean? Like, what do you think they do behind the doors? Is that when they install things? Is that, because they know there's no media there? Like, what exactly does that mean, the walkthrough?
Yeah, a lot of teaching, and a lot of, back in the old days, because I'm old, when there were tour days, you would not always, but a lot of times you would have a morning practice and then an afternoon walkthrough, or vice versa. And we would get to watch, walkthroughs, and they're very, very boring, but you can see things. You can see, all right, Stoutland's working with so-and-so on so-and-so. And Clint Hurd is trying to get somebody up to speed, or you can see what Christian Parker is trying to, and Roy Anderson is trying to do with Adore Jackson and Kaylee Ringo, or things like that. You can gather a lot of information. And it's just another thing that's gone away over the years that we don't have access to. And it's disappointing. I think from the standpoint of the NFL, it would help them greatly, actually. But, from the Eagles standpoint, I get it, because the Eagles are overwhelmed, for a very long time. The entire time I've been here, I don't know when it started, but the entire time I've been here, they have the largest media contingent in the NFL. So bigger than New York, bigger than Chicago, bigger than the big cities, because of the passion for football in this city. And they're kind of overwhelmed. So if they don't have to do something, they're not going to do it. And I get it, but I do think it would help educate reporters, which would in turn educate fans, which in turn would be better for the Eagles. But, that's that's a battle I'm not going to win.
Do you think they want educated fans, or do they not really care?
Well, I think they get pissed when unfair things are labeled. So, I mean, how do you get fairness by educating people? Now, it's hard. But so it depends how you look at it. No, I don't think they care that much until, a false narrative is out there. Then I think they care. But it's tough to, and there's, well, I don't want to get into that wormhole, but some people are down there as, oh, there's Jalen Hurts. And I'm not talking about fans. I'm talking about, people
who are not supposed to be fanboying and supposed to be fucking working.
People are supposed to be working. Yeah. So, I mean, and then you get into, well, this guy can come, but this guy can't come. And that's difficult as well. So then you piss off a bunch of people. So I get it from the Eagles standpoint. But it's disappointing from a league wide when I used to be able to watch those things. And don't get me wrong. There were plenty of complaints like, I got to go to a walkthrough, but that's where you would gain, in a lot of ways, that's where you would gain the most information.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So, it's just another thing that's gone away over the years.
Well, the walkthrough is today, and the first 48 hours are done, or at least the first 48 in terms of 2 straight days of 2 straight days at the NovaCare for Johnny Mac. 2 practices in the books. John, what's your overall takeaways? Just thoughts on the mind. We'll dive into obviously everything deeper today. We had a great recap show last night on day 2, so we'll kind of look at things from a somewhat of a broader perspective. You can't get too broad. It's only been 2 days, but after 2 days, John, what's your takeaway so far on the 2025 Eagles on this iteration of the Birds, Johnny Mac?
I'll default to Nick Sirianni when he got asked the question about how much different camp is going to be here. Camp is going to be coming off the Super Bowl, and he said, "Camp is camp. Doesn't change from year to year, no matter if you're good, bad, indifferent." So that part of it is just, it's similar. It's business as usual. Installing. Eagles Big kind of explained that yesterday. He was installing stuff back in the spring and just picked up. Some people do it a little bit differently. 7 or 8 practices when Nick got here was when that's how much they took to install the full breadth of their operation. So you're doing a lot of installing, and then things pick up. Obviously, pads coming on is going to be a big day. That won't happen can't happen for another few days, and we'll see how quickly the Eagles put them on. But because of the collectively bargained ramp up period, but camp is camp, and it's been business as usual from that standpoint.
Yep, that's good. Good news there. Johnny Mac, let's go through the health check real quick just to start the show here. I'm sure most people know, but for the benefit of anybody who doesn't know or isn't aware, the team is relatively healthy, John. I mean, Jahad Campbell is back in action a lot quicker than we expected. I know he's a limited participant, but I think this is well earlier than we anticipated. And now I wonder, is this guy going to be ready for week 1? I could see it. But outside of that, you had Jalen Carter and Kenyon Green miss the first 2 practices. I don't think there's any concern with Jalen Carter. I don't know what it is. Maybe you have something you can shed on that, but I don't think it's a big deal. And then Nakobe Dean on the PUP list. Cam Jurgens was limited as well. But overall, the team is coming to camp in good shape, Johnny Mac. You look around the league, there has already been some injuries. I mean, I forget the name of the player in Detroit that got injured already. Another guy on their defensive line.
Yeah, defensive tackle.
Are they going to have another year like they had last? You know what I mean? That team had so many injuries last year.
Yeah, good player too. Levi, Big O. We got a Big O. They got a Big O. And why? I mean, the Eagles, of course, not we, but yeah. I mean, injuries are always part of it, and it's always good when you can get through camp with as few injuries as possible. Coming in, I mean, they expected Cam Jurgens take a little bit of time to ramp up, but he's been out there working in first team, but they have a rep count on him coming off season back surgery. They have a rep count on Jahad Campbell. We talked about that a lot as far as him beating expectations for being on the practice field. August came early. Vic joked about it. The training staff liking to understate so they can overachieve, which was kind of funny. So all positive on Jahad Campbell coming off the labrum surgery. And then Jalen Carter's dealing with a little bit of a shoulder issue, but they're just being extra cautious. I mean, he was out there, after the set of reps the first team defense takes, they generally try to run down to their end zone before they head back to the sideline, just a little conditioning trick. And Jalen Carter was participating in that on yesterday. So he's not hurt by any stretch. I wouldn't worry about. It's nothing serious. They're just going to always be very cautious with their best players. And Kenyon Green dealing with a bit of a knee injury, and that's, he's on the bubble, so that's probably important for him to try to make this team. But the more time he misses, the older you can't make the club in the tub thought process. But a lot of people made the Mekhi Becton connection because they were both first round picks and they both underachieved in their original cities, and maybe the reclamation project could hit again. But there's been no evidence that even if he was healthy, that Kenyon Green would be pushing Tyler Steen at right guard. In fact, he didn't even take reps at right guard.
If Matt Pryor's not pushing him, I don't think Kenyon Green would be pushing him.
No. So I think a lot of people just connected it with Becton because they were both high-level draft picks and said, well, he got Becton up to speed. Why can't he do it with Kenyon Green? Speaking of Jeff Stoutland, maybe he can long-term, but he's not. When he does come back, he's probably going to be at left guard. That's where he was in the spring. So, and that's probably the biggest injury. But he's been out there watching as well, so it doesn't seem serious. But for him, to make this team, he's going to have to get out there pretty quickly.
Yep, we'll see how it all shakes out there. Good takeaways, John, from that overall. Good, healthy team. They got the walkthrough today, so we'll see what we learn. They're back out in the field tomorrow, John. So who is set to speak? Yesterday was Vic Fangio Day, which is always a fun one. It's always tough to follow up Vic. Do we get the new offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, tomorrow morning?
Kevin's turn tomorrow morning. Kevin Patullo, I think, Eagles fans who were paying attention during the spring already got to see him talk then, but I think they'll be impressed by him. If I had to rate the Eagles offensive coordinators just from a communication standpoint, I would rate him number one. So I think they'll be a little bit happier with some of the answers. They're obviously going to be. There's very few big Fangios. He's not going to be big and just be blunt. But he's a lot better communicatively on the record. Like Shane Steichen was phenomenal off the record, but that, nobody gets to see it. On the record, I mean, even if you go back to Frank Reich isn't great on the record. I mean, on the podium.
Right.
Very close to the best. May have changed as a head coach. I wasn't paying that much attention, but Mike Rowe was okay. But people didn't like him, so they kind of forget about him. Press Taylor wasn't a de facto offensive coordinator for a while. Then you had sort of a split role. Very young. Shane was very close to the best. Brian was okay. Kellen is very close to the best. So I think people are going to be happy with Kevin Patullo as I run through the offensive coordinators in my head. He's by far the most open. Obviously that doesn't matter if you don't perform and you underachieve with this talent. It's not going to help them, but I think people are going to enjoy his style a little bit more.
Yeah, that should be good. I'm excited to hear Kevin Patullo tomorrow. We'll do a little football 24/7 to recap the day tomorrow. John, we came into camp. Just one thing I want to touch on because we really talked about it a lot as we led up to training camp was the edge rusher room. Have your thoughts evolved, changed, improved, gotten worse at all in that room? Where are you on the edge rushers after just seeing them take the field? I know they're not in pads. I understand we can't learn that much yet. But what have you seen from the edge rushing room? I know Ojulari got some reps in there. They did add a guy this week. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Ogbonia.
I gotta.
I don't know how to pronounce. I'm pretty good normally with names. That's a tough one. But any early flashes in that room or anything you've seen that has altered, whether good or bad, your perception of it coming into camp or coming into
my perception is I'm going to try it for the first time. Ogbo Okoronkwo. That's the best I can do
That's not bad.
until I actually meet Ogbo. I'm calling him Big O for now.
Yeah, I like that.
Oscar Robertson. I'm sorry, rest in peace, but maybe medium sized though, because he's not the biggest guy, similar to all the Eagles edge rushers, 6'2", 250. But veteran player has been a very effective rotational player at times in Houston, Cleveland, and with the Rams earlier in his career. So I think he'll be relevant. He's already gotten some second team reps mixed in a little bit. So yeah, I think I add him to the mix. Obviously, back end, not front end of the room. But I think he's got a chance because he got here early enough to maybe compete for one of the jobs. But hasn't changed much other than Jalen, the hype around Jalen Hunt, which I joked about it yesterday. If there was a yearbook for training camp, he'd be most popular, Jalen Hunt. Jordan Mailata, bringing up Micah Parsons, Nolan Smith, bringing up sliced bread. So he's been the most popular. And certainly the Eagles want him to win the job. He's played right end, so essentially the replacement for Josh Sweat. And I think he's got a big upside, but Vic threw the cold water on there yesterday, probably purposefully, not probably, definitely, calling those kind of comparisons reckless,
Right.
which is, pretty significant word.
I did get a kick out of John that I heard you in the press conference on the live cast, because I knew that you were going to love that comment from Vic Fangio.
Well,
and then like I hear John like laughing on the thing, and I'm like, that is so ironic, because I knew John would have loved that comment.
Well, the whole thing. So Jordan was talking the day before, and Jordan Mailata. And I was back in what they call the mix zone talking to somebody else. So by the time I got back to Jordan Mailata, the media tent down there was just packed. It was packed. I mean, there's 4 rows of seats. So I had to stand up in the back. And Jordan made that comment, and he happened to be looking in my direction. And I chuckled. It was just my natural reaction. I was like, whoa. And he saw it and smiled. He saw me chuckle. So then with Vic, I was in the front row. I was right in front of Vic. And so we were going back and forth. I was talking to him before the press conference about he had a Phillies hat on with Eagles colors. He's a big Phillies fan. So I was buttering him up with some Phillies talk. So we had been going back and forth before it started a little bit. And then when he heard those comments, I have to put up exactly. They didn't capture the whole thing on the transcript, but basically he said, let me see. I'm trying to pull it up. So he was asked about, and again, it was phrased wrong. The Jordan part was right. Jordan Mailata was really complimentary of Jalen Hunt. And then he was also asked about AJ being complimentary of Drew Makuba. What AJ was talking about Cooper DeJean. So that part of it was wrong. But so Vic didn't know what AJ said. So he just said, yeah, both of them overdid it. Come on, and laughed. And he said, he said, did you guys laugh? And I said, well, I chuckled, with the Micah stuff. And he said it should have been a belly laugh, because it's kind of an outrageous comp. But again, to be fair to Jordan Mailata, he wasn't comping the players. He was comping the burst and a little bit of the traits. So I think that's fair to say as well. And then AJ again was afterwards, I don't know how long they go with that, but as he was walking off the podium, we're explaining to him that AJ was really talking about Cooper DeJean, and he wasn't as nearly as upset about that. But even that, it's like, you got to temper on the all-pro stuff a little bit, and he called it reckless, but I don't think it's reckless. That's kind of a strong word, but there's nothing wrong in pumping up your teammates. But for fans who think Jalen Hunt is going to be Micah Parsons on day one, it's like, that's kind of reckless, and that hurts Jalen more than it helps him to have those types of expectations, which is what sort of Vic is saying.
Yep, no doubt about it. Good stuff there, Johnny Mac. John, we're going to get to Mike Gill. Before we do that, there's one thing, John, I got to correct you on this opening segment. I think you'll be happy I corrected you. Oscar Robertson, John, is still alive.
Oh, is he? Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a bad job by me. Yeah. Wow, is he?
Yeah, 86 years old is Oscar Robertson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, big boy. Yeah, I apologize for that.
I'm good. I'm like, wait a second.
Thank you.
And then I saw Joe Whip in the chat. He's still with us, J Mac. I'm like, let me double check that to make sure.
No, I'm glad. Hey, correct me at any time. I don't like getting shit like that wrong. I don't know why I thought he passed away, but I did. So I appreciate it.
That's all right, John. You got a lot of shit going on in that big brain of yours after this week. So let's get to it. Let's get to Mike Gill here joining us right now on Birds 365. For those of you who are daily watchers, normally we get Mike Gill on Wednesdays with the all messed up schedule. We got Mike on here on a Football Friday, who's kind enough to join us, take some time out for us. Here he is right now joining us on the show. You can follow him at Mike Gill Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Mike Gill Show. Listen to him on 97.5 and 97.3